Hello friends, welcome to our channel CBSE Science Lovers. Once again be with you. So today we are going to discuss an important topic of the chemistry portion of class 10, that is a chemical reaction and equation. So my dear student, we are very familiar about the many changes has around us, different type of changes. For example, in summer season, if you kept the milk, then it will become converted into curd. One change. If you burn the magnesium ribbon, it is converted into one another material. And like that, if you cook the food, then it's also show the chemical change. And if you digest the food, body digested the food, many changes takes place. So what are these changes? In earlier classes we have discussed about the different physical and chemical changes. So today we are going to discuss chemical changes and their representation. So my dear student, these changes are represented scientifically in the form of chemical reaction, in which a new substance is formed which property just different from the previous one. So chemical reactions, what are the chemical reactions? Chemical reactions are the changes during which a new substance are formed. New substances are formed which are different in physical and chemical characters. So these, my dear student, during the chemical changes, a new substances are formed. For example, just during the curd formation, we have the milk. From the milk, we got the curd. So these are the chemical changes. And what are the different chemical changes? How we can represent it? That is one big question in front of us. Just for represent the chemical changes, we use the chemical reactions. Chemical reactions represent the chemical changes we had. So what are chemical changes? First of all, we should know specific identity of the chemical changes. If you observe the change, so the chemical change are the changes in which state of matter may be changed. So chemical change shows the change in the state of the matter. So during a chemical change, color may also be changed. During a chemical change, color may also be changed. One specific character during the chemical change, a new substance is formed. That is the specific character of a chemical change. Always during a chemical change, a new substance will be formed. What are the other identity of the chemical change? Just if you see if there is any changes going on, then evolution or absorption of energy during a chemical change, either the energy be evolved or energy be absorbed. That is one specific identity of the chemical change. Another identity of a chemical change, my dear student, during a chemical change, gas may be evolved. So let's discuss some changes which we are familiar, to which we are familiar. If you want the magnesium, then you will get another substance, that is magnesium ash, which is white in color. So there is a change in the color also here, student. Change in the physical state, the solid and powder form. So there is the physical change also, physical state also be changed, and some gases also be evolved during the burning of the magnesium. But how we represent it, the burning of magnesium as a chemical change? It is very important, my dear student. In the sentences form, it is very difficult to express a chemical change. For example, another chemical change you can take around us. If you take zinc granules and kept it into hydrochloric acid, then a salt is formed and a gas is also evolved, that is hydrogen gas. So for such type of the chemical changes representation, we used a short method by which we can represent a chemical change in an effective and short and convenient method. We used chemical equations. So chemical equations are the short representation or convenient representation of a chemical change. How? Just see, I am saying that if you burn the magnesium ribbon, then what will happen? Magnesium ribbon represents for the magnesium metal, and if you burn is, then magnesium oxide, a new substance is formed. So that is chemical change, and this change we are writing in the form of a word, in the form of equation, and that's why this equation is said to be the word equation, because we are writing this change in the word form. Another affected method, if we use the chemical symbols of the elements or the compound which are participating in a chemical change. For example, the symbol of the magnesium Mg, and burning, my dear student, if you are burning any substance, write the burning. It means it is reacting to the oxygen and forming magnesium oxide. That is the chemical representation of a chemical change in the form of chemical equations. So chemical equation showing the chemical change of burning of magnesium ribbon in a short manner, in a convenient manner by this phenomena. So my dear student, another chemical change, I told you that zinc, when you dissolve zinc into the hydrochloric acid, then the chemical formula of the hydrochloric acid is HCl. Then what happened? The salt which is formed, that is zinc chloride and hydrogen gas evolved. That is the chemical equations. So chemical equations are the representation of the chemical changes in a short, convenient and effective method, so that we can demonstrate the chemical change effectively. So my dear student, let's see what is the structure of a chemical equation. If you see one chemical equation, so the substance which participating in the chemical changes are called reactant. For example, in this chemical equation, magnesium and oxygen are participant of chemical change, and that's why these two are the reactant of this chemical equation. And if there are more than one reactant, then we put one positive sign in between the symbol of them. Another part of the chemical equation, that is the new substance which are forming. That new substance during the chemical change which are forming, that new substances are called the product. For example, in this case, magnesium oxide is the product. So, in a chemical change, there are the two parts, reactant as well as product. In the second case, when you dissolve zinc into hydrochloric acid, then zinc and hydrochloric acid are the reactant. And after the chemical change, the newly formed substances are zinc chloride, ZnCl2, and hydrogen gas, and that are the product. So in a chemical equation, there are the two things, reactants and products. And to proceed the change, we represent by arrow from the reactant towards the product, or equal sign also from reactant towards the product. That is the simple method to represent a chemical change in the form of a chemical equations. To make the chemical equations more effective, we also represent the physical states of the reactants as well as product in the form of symbol. For example, for the solid phase, we shows as like that with the subscript form. For the liquid phase, we represent L in the bracket. For the gaseous form, we represent G in the bracket. And for the solution form, we represent AQU, aqueous. For example, in this reaction, zinc, what is the physical state of the zinc which we are taking in this chemical change? That is solid. So we represent the solid with the zinc like that. HCl is in the form of liquid. So we represent the physical state of the HCl like that. Similarly, in case of product, zinc chloride is in the form of solid. So we can represent the physical state of the zinc chloride with the symbol, with the formula in brackets like that. And for the gaseous form, we represent this one, and this arrow also shows the gases, because after forming gas start to move upwards. So this symbol of arrow to upward side is showing the gases formation is going on, my dear student. So that is the effective way to represent one equation. Like that, magnesium is in the form of solid we are using in this chemical chain. Oxygen, that is in the form of gas, and max magnesium oxide is in the form of solid ash. So that are about the chemical reactions, their identity, and the representation of the chemical reactions in the form of chemical equations. So in our next segment, my dear student, we will discuss about the skeletal and balanced chemical equations. What are these two? So be with us and join our channel CBSE Science Lovers. Then we will discuss all such topics. Thank you. Have a nice day.